Jerry, I know it's just been about, I think, 6 weeks at this point from the last no contest. Over it yet? Have you moved past it? Have you left it behind, or is it still a little frustrating?
I love no contests. I was very frustrated at first, but what am I going to do, right? And, I believe I was winning that fight. I thought I looked great. I was doing my thing, and then all of a sudden I was like, what happened? But, the weeks following, I was wondering, oh, what now? And then, I got a call from my manager, and he was like, you want to fight Jim Miller? I'm like, when? It was 17 days notice. And I was like, well, let me get on the scale, see what I weigh. And I was like, I don't know, maybe I should go for a run before I get back to my manager. I was 193 when I got on the scale, yeah. Super bloated, eating, like an animal. But I was training. I got back in the gym fast. So I'm in shape. I was in shape. But the weight was, a questionable issue. But I'm good. Weight's good, yeah. So
you got the call. Were you itching to get back in? Like, after that, was it a frustrating result? Were you like, dude, you got to get me back in right away?
After the last two, of course. I was like, what's going on here? Why is this happening to me? I was like messaging my manager, what's next? And he was like, oh, maybe you shouldn't, take a little time off, fight in October. I was like, October? It's like 6 months away. And then like 2 days later, he called me. He's like, you want to fight in 17 days? So, yeah, I was definitely itching to get back in there, and here I am.
Was there any talk with the team or anybody about, like, is this too quick of a turnaround? Because I know emotionally you want to be there, right? But physically, was there any talk, like, is that safe? Is that smart?
Oh, of course. I had a minor concussion, but I got over the symptoms fairly quickly, and I did everything I could to recover, supplements. I was in a hyperbaric chamber for the last 6 weeks. At this point in my career, I was like, sometimes you got to risk it a little bit, right, to get what you want. And I think, a little bit of risk is not too bad. I'm risking it anyways going in there, even if I didn't have that outcome 6 weeks ago. So I was like, let's do it. And this is what we do, right? We fight. I make a living doing this, so that's another reason to do it. They gave me a new contract, the UFC, another deal, and, a bump in pay, and I think it was worth it. I could have been, or I was on my way to being, or I should have been 3-0 on that contract. I beat Leo Santos, I beat Patty, but I lost. And then this one, I was on my way to winning, the Bobby one. So I would have had leverage. So then, I was 1-0-1 after that. So I was like, this was just a great opportunity for me to get another contract and get back in there with a legend and Jim Miller. And I think stylistically, it's a great fight for me.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you about. Obviously, Jim Miller, future Hall of Famer. I don't think there's anybody that doesn't respect him on the roster. So what do you think about him as an opponent?
He's tough, hard-nosed, always brings it, he's always game. But I believe that I'm better, He lost to an opponent that I had faced and beat. Not that the MMA math ever adds up, but, I know I can get the job done against anyone. So let's do it, and I know it's going to be a fight, He's not finished easily, you can't just get him out of there quickly, and he comes out, and just when you think like he's getting tired, he explodes, and he's a southpaw. He's got a great, he's got great weapons, and on the ground he's a savage also. So it's not like there's nowhere in this fight where I could just get lazy. But I think it's a great fight for me.
Last thing for me. Is working back to Bobby Green, does that matter to you at all? I know immediately kind of wanted to do it, and the UFC went a different direction, but is that a fight that needs to happen again?
It's funny, like the night before I got the call, I saw that he got the fight with Tony, and I was like, that should be my fighter. That's a big name, obviously, Tony Ferguson, and it's on a great card. But, get past Jim Miller, and then who knows what's what's next? I mean, I want a top 15, and I believe that I've proven that I can do that and hang with these guys. So, you know, maybe down the line, but, you know, everyone above, I'm like been hanging around the top 15, outside of the top 15 for a while now. And it's like, you know, I want to catch a break and get a win and get a top 15 opponent. So that's really what I'm looking for. I don't care who it is, but I want to fight forward.
Hey, Jared.
Alex.
I know that you wanted that Tony Ferguson fight. You were asking for that fight. So when Bobby got it, like, how annoyed were you?
I wasn't that annoyed. I was asking for it a while ago, and like he wasn't really on my radar, especially after Patty and then after fighting Bobby. I wasn't even thinking about Tony Ferguson. And then, you know, I think like a couple days before that, he, you know, had a little incident driving. So that was like, I didn't think he was going to be fighting anytime soon. So, no, man, I was lost for a little bit after Bobby. I was really depressed. I was down on myself. And I was like, none of this is worth it. You know, I was having a pity party for like 2 weeks. And then, you know, I got this call. So I think it's just, you know, everything happens for a reason. Everything aligns the way it's supposed to align. And, you know, God makes things happen in my life where, you know, I think I want things, I want this, but he gives me what I need. So that's what I'm going with.
It's the side of the side of the fighter that you were just talking about, like behind the scenes, where like people don't see you, see your emotions when you're home. So like, I guess how hard was it, you know, knowing that you would beat Patty and then this incident with Bobby Green, and then you go home and you're like what the hell just happened? Like, how do you get through that? And like, how hard was it?
So the week after the fight with Bobby, my friend was getting married in New York. So I went to New York. I was in, you know, my old home, my stomping grounds. I was in Manhattan. I was enjoying myself. And then we came back to Florida, and then it hit me. And I remember, you know, I would have times where I was sitting in the couch or in the shower, and I was like really upset. Like, you know, I feel like I'm doing all the right things, trying to be of service to people and do what I think I should do. And, you know, you don't get the outcomes that you think that you need, or the outcomes you want. And, you know, there was times where I was really depressed, man. And I was talking to you about it. Like, you know, like the way that my brain, I'm sick. The way my brain works, like I'll have moments where I'll just throw it all away. You know, F the UFC, F my wife, F my friends and everything I have, and I'm gonna go crash and burn because, you know, that's how I find comfort. I find comfort in darkness, you know, and that's the way I used to cope with things. And, you know, luckily I have a great support network around me and people that lift me up and guide me. My wife, my number one, and my friends and you know, everyone around me sober. And, you know, they were like, you got to get out of this. You got to get out of this. And I changed a couple things up and I started doing a couple things differently that following week. And then within 3 days, I got a call, you know, and things started looking better. And you know, within 24 hours of changing my thought process, I was like, oh, I feel good today. I feel way better. And then 2 days later, I got the call for this. So I was like, oh, my life's great again. And, you know, as humans, we tend to like, you know, just be negative. We have like negative biases towards everything, you know? It's just our primitive nature to look at the negative stuff. We never look at the stuff that we've been blessed with and given. We're always looking at the stuff that has screwed your life up or what, you know, you think has screwed your life up. So it's hard to always stay grateful. You know, and that's something that I should do. I mean, look, I think my career is, you know, better than it's ever been, and, you know, I'm doing better than I ever have. So, you know, I just have to pull myself out of that slump and just keep working hard, and here we are.
Thanks for sharing that, man. I guess just finally, is a rematch with Diego Ferreira something that, like...
No, I don't ever want to fight Diego again. He's so good. And we're friends now. You know, it's funny, like, all of my past opponents, like, I'm friends with. Even yesterday, I had a little thing with Patty on, he got married or something, and someone tagged me, Patty's dad or something like that, and I responded, and I was like, look, I hope he had a great wedding, and I hope he has a great career, and I hope that he recovers from his ankle surgery. And he responded, he's like, thank you for the kind words, thank you for, I hope you do well also. And like everyone that I fought, it's like Grant Dawson, I'm friends with him. Joe Selecki, we talk, and Diego, I've seen him. I see him all the time, and he's so good, dude. He's a savage. He's black belt champion. He has knockout power. I mean, there was a time where he beat like 3 Dagestanis in a row, and I remember thinking like, that was a good win. That was a good loss for me. I didn't lose to just some other guy, And he went on like a 7-fight winning streak after me, or something like that. And he was ranked, and all his fights have been great. Gregor Gillespie, Beneil Dariush. Those were savage fights that like I wouldn't really want to partake in that kind of fight because someone's getting hurt, and you're going to be really tired. But no, I mean, Diego's a great guy, and I wish him the best also. And he did just beat my teammate though, Michael Johnson, and Michael was looking great. And then you know how this game works, man. One shot and it's over. But no, I already fought him. Let's get someone else on there,
Awesome. Thanks, man.
No problem.